My new boss kept harassing me and threatened my job when I rejected him and fired another woman who reported him. So I played along to get into meetings with the CEO and exposed him directly to the woman who could end his career. Roland was the regional director at the wealth management firm where I started in March. He came by my desk on day one, leaned on the side of my cubicle, and kept his hand on the back of my chair. I like to introduce myself to all the new women personally, he said. Boyfriend? Fiancé, I said. He smiled. That's a shame. Fiancés aren't husbands. You never know. Within 2 weeks, he was inviting me to lunches I had not asked for and sending late-night emails that started with "still up" and ended with project links he could have sent at noon. The third week, he asked to see my ring. He took my hand and turned it over. It's nice. Small, though. Men who really want you will spend more. I pulled my hand back. He kept smiling. Then he leaned over my desk. I see big things for you. But promotions around here depend on me being able to trust the people I push for. I can only push so hard for someone I don't really know yet. What does that mean? I asked. You're a smart girl. You'll figure it out. The fourth week, he started threatening. Your performance review is coming up. I'd hate to have to bring up some of the concerns I've been hearing about your work. I had no concerns on my work. From who? I asked. Doesn't matter from who. It matters that I'm the one who decides what to do about them. And I'm a generous boss to the people who let me be one. The fifth week, he fired Yasmin, another new hire. 2 days after she told him she wasn't comfortable with their lunches anymore, he stood in the team meeting and told everyone she had been struggling with her numbers, even though she had been the highest performer in our group, and he himself had said so out loud the week before. Yasmin came by to clear her desk that afternoon. She did not say anything to me. She did not say anything to anyone. She put her things in a banker's box and walked out the front door with her badge still clipped to her shirt. She had forgotten to leave it at reception. Nobody stopped her. Mira stopped me in the bathroom that afternoon. He'll get bored eventually, she said. Just wait it out. How long does it take? Took 8 months for me. He moved on to someone else. I did not want to wait it out, so I did something Roland did not expect. I stopped pushing back. I accepted his lunches. I laughed at his jokes. I told him I appreciated his mentorship. He started taking me to meetings I had no business being in, quarterly reviews, regional partner trips, a strategy session with the firm's CEO, Frances. Frances was in her 60s, had founded the firm 30 years earlier, and had a habit of asking quiet questions that made people stop talking and listen. She also had a habit of noticing things. Halfway through the session, she watched Roland reach over to put his hand on the back of my chair, the way he had on my first day. She did not say anything. She wrote something down. She looked at me twice during the rest of the meeting. Each time she looked away before I could catch her eye. Then she turned to him. Who are your strongest people, Roland? Roland pointed at me. What are you working on? She asked me. I told her in detail about a client portfolio reassignment Roland had taken credit for in his last branch report. Roland's smile got tight. Walk me through it after the session, Frances said. After the session, I walked her through it. She asked me factual questions about the work, none of them about Roland. At the end, she said, we're rolling out a new compliance program across all regions. We need a point of contact at your level in your branch. Are you interested? Yes. She wrote it down. The next morning, an email went out from her office. I now reported on that file directly to Frances. Roland was no longer in my chain on that work. He came by my desk before I had finished my coffee. Did you say something to Frances about me? No, I said. She only asked me about my work. After everything I did for you, I said the line he had said to me on my first day. I just go where the opportunities are. Over the next 2 months, Frances kept asking me questions. None of them leading. All of them factual. The turnover rate in our department. How many new hires had left within their first year. Whether the women who left had been given exit interviews, and whether anyone had read them. I answered every question with a number. I never said Roland's name unless she said it first. She made one phone call. The week after, Roland was moved to a special projects role with no reports and nothing to sign. 3 weeks into the new role, Roland walked into the branch with a folder under his arm and asked the front desk to call me down. He handed me the folder in the lobby, smiled the same smile he'd worn on my first day, and said, I think you'll want to read this before Frances does. I opened it right there. The first page was a printout of an email I had never sent from my own work account to a client I had never met. I closed the folder, looked him in the eye, and said, thank you. He blinked. For what? For the heads up. I appreciate you bringing this to my attention. He walked out. I went straight to my desk and searched my sent folder. The email did not exist. I scrolled through every email I had sent that month. Nothing. I took screenshots of every search, printed my full sent log, saved everything to my personal cloud drive, not the company one. Then I tried the admin portal Frances had given me access to for the compliance work. Access denied. The timestamp on the restriction had been updated that morning, hours before Roland came to the lobby. He had gone to IT first. He wanted me stuck with a printout I could not disprove, and no way to pull the records that would clear me. I walked the folder across the hall to Mira's desk. She finished her call, saw the folder in my hand, and her face changed. It was not surprise. It was recognition, like she had seen that folder before, or one just like it. He handed me a fake email from my account this morning. I said, he's trying to get me fired before I can talk to Frances again. Mira looked at her desk, at the photo of her daughter pinned to the side of her monitor. He did something like that to the woman before me. She left before she could prove it. I need your help, I said. I have a kid, she said. I can't lose this job. He's not going to stop. You told me yourself it took 8 months. What happens to the next woman after me? Mira did not answer right away. She kept looking at the photo. Then she opened the bottom drawer of her desk and pulled out a notebook. Blue cover, bent corner, thick with writing. She set it on the desk between us. I started writing things down after my second month. Dates, times, what he said. I never showed anyone. I looked at the notebook. It was thick with writing. Some pages had 2 or 3 entries. Some had full paragraphs. 8 months of Roland, written down in real time by someone who had lived through it and kept quiet because she thought nobody would believe her. That night, I sat on the couch with the folder and the notebook spread on the coffee table. Chad got home around 7, saw the papers, and said, what is all that? I told him everything. He listened without interrupting, which was how I knew he was really paying attention, because Chad always has something to say. When I finished, he sat down next to me. You need to go to Frances tomorrow, not Friday. I can't just walk into the CEO's office without a reason. She scheduled the meeting for Friday. If I show up early, she might think I'm being dramatic. Chad shook his head. You have a reason. Someone forged a document from your work email. That is a compliance issue. A real one. Not a rumor, not a feeling. stealing, an actual forged email. And you are the compliance contact. Francis made you the compliance contact herself. He was right. I had been thinking about this like it was a personal problem between me and Roland, like I needed to wait my turn and present it carefully on Friday so I did not look emotional or pushy. But Chad saw it clearly because he was not inside it. A forged email sent from a company account to a client was not a personal issue. It was exactly the kind of thing the compliance program was built to catch. It was exactly the kind of thing Francis had asked me to watch for. I did not need to wait until Friday. I did not need to ask for permission. I had a documented compliance concern, I had evidence, and I had a direct reporting line to Francis on exactly this kind of issue. I spent that night at my dining table organizing everything into 3 piles. The forged printout Roland gave me in the lobby. My real sent log showing the email did not exist. Mira's notebook with 8 months of entries, dates, and direct quotes. I put each piece in a clear plastic sleeve and numbered them. No emotions, no accusations, just data. Francis was a numbers person. She did not care about how I felt. She cared about what I could prove. By 7:30 the next morning, I was at my desk and had emailed Francis's assistant. I kept it short. A compliance concern at the branch level that needed Francis's attention. 40 minutes later, the assistant wrote back. Francis had an opening at 2 o'clock. I confirmed and went back to my regular work like nothing was different. At 10, my calendar pinged with a mandatory team meeting from Roland. He stood at the front of the room, jacket on, hands folded, looking like he was about to give a dinner party toast. There have been some concerns about data handling in this branch, specifically around client communications. Over the next week, I'll be conducting individual reviews of everyone's client email history. This is routine. It's nothing to worry about if you've been doing things the right way. He looked around the room slowly. His eyes landed on me. He held the look for just a second longer than he needed to. Then he moved on. He was building a stage. He was going to find the forged email during the review and bring it to Francis like he had discovered it. He would act surprised. He would act concerned. It was the kind of move someone makes when they have done it before and gotten away with it. After the meeting, Mira pulled me into the stairwell. He's going to plant it in the review. That's what he did to the woman before you. She couldn't prove it wasn't hers. He doesn't know I still have the printout he handed me in the lobby. And he doesn't know I'm meeting Francis at 2. Her eyes got wide. Today? Today. At noon, I watched Roland walk to Mira's cubicle and lean against the wall the way he used to lean against mine. Her face went flat. He talked. She nodded. He tapped the top of her cubicle and walked away. 2 minutes later, my phone buzzed. He offered me the senior analyst promotion if I tell Francis you've been making mistakes on client files. I typed back. What did you say? I said I'd think about it. A second text right after. I'm not thinking about it. I'm coming with you at 2. I put my phone face down on my desk and stared at my computer screen without seeing anything on it. Roland was not just trying to frame me anymore. He was buying people. He was offering promotions in exchange for lies. He was building a whole case against me, piece by piece, so that by the time Francis heard anything, he would have witnesses and reviews and documentation all pointing in my direction. He thought he was ahead of me. He thought he had time. He thought Mira was doing the math the way he expected every woman in the building to do it. Mira was not doing math. She was getting ready to walk into Francis's office with me in less than 2 hours and blow the whole thing open. At 1:15, my personal phone rang. I did not recognize the number. It was Yasmin. I had not spoken to her since the day she cleaned out her desk. Mira called me. She told me what's happening. She told me about the meeting. I did not say anything right away. For the first time in weeks, I felt like this was not just my fight anymore. I should have fought harder when he fired me, Yasmin said. I just left. I didn't say anything to anyone. You didn't do anything wrong. He made sure you couldn't fight. I have my performance reports. Every single one. He told the team I was struggling, but my numbers were the highest in the group, and I have the emails where he said so himself. I saved them because I knew he was lying. I asked her if she was willing to send the reports to Francis. The line went quiet. Then she said, I'll do more than send them. Tell me where the meeting is. I'll be there. At 1:45, Mira and I stood up from our desks at the same time. We did not say anything to each other. We just walked toward the elevator together. Roland's office door was open. He was at his desk, looking at his computer. He glanced up and saw us walking side by side. He stood. Where are you two headed? Compliance meeting, Mira said. He came to his doorway. What compliance meeting? The one Francis scheduled, I said. She asked me to bring someone from the team. Roland's face changed. It was not anger. It was something sharper. He reached for his phone. The elevator doors closed. Mira's hands were shaking. She pressed them flat against her legs. He's going to call her. Let him. By the time he gets through, we'll already be in the room. The doors opened on Francis's floor. Yasmin was already there, sitting in a chair by the window with a folder in her lap. She stood when she saw us. Let's go. The assistant looked up, saw all 3 of us, and said, go ahead in. Francis was behind her desk, reading something. She looked up, saw 3 women instead of 1, and set her papers down slowly. Sit down, all of you. I started. I put the forged email printout on her desk and told her, factually, that Roland had handed it to me in the lobby, that it was addressed to a client I had never spoken to, and that when I searched my sent folder, it did not exist. I told her I had screenshots of every search and a full printout of my real sent log. I told her that when I tried to access the email server logs through the admin portal she had given me, my permissions had been revoked that same morning, before Roland ever came to the lobby. Francis picked up the printout. She read it slowly, front to back. Then she set it down and looked at me. Do you have your sent log? I handed her the full printed copy. She laid it next to the forged email, ran her finger down the dates, found the date on the forged printout, and checked. There was nothing there. No email, no entry. She did not say anything. She just moved the 2 pages closer together. Then she looked at Mira. Mira opened her notebook. Her hands were not shaking anymore. She walked Francis through 8 months of entries, dates, times, exact quotes. When she got to a section from 5 months in, Roland in his office with the door closed, telling her performance review depended on how cooperative she was willing to be. Francis stopped her and asked her to read it again. Mira did. Francis wrote something down. Why didn't you report this? Mira's voice was quiet but did not shake. Because he was the one I would have reported it to. He's the regional director. He hired half the people in that branch. I didn't think anyone above him would believe me over him. Yasmin went last. She placed 2 emails on the desk, side by side. The first, sent 1 week before her firing, where Roland called her the top performer in the group. The second, sent 7 days later, telling the team her numbers had been below standard, both with his name at at the bottom. Both could not be true. Francis's phone rang. Her assistant's voice came through the speaker. Roland is on the line. He says it's urgent. Francis picked up. I'm in a meeting. Tell him I'll call him back. She hung up. She stacked the papers neatly the way she always did. Then she looked at me. I appreciate you bringing this to me. I'm going to need a few days to review everything and speak with our legal team. My chest got tight. A few days. A few days meant Roland had time. Time to delete things. Time to pressure Mira again. Time to run his fake email review in front of the whole team. Time to call Francis back and tell her whatever story he had ready. A few days was exactly what he needed to make all of this disappear the way he had made the woman before Mira disappear. We had given her everything we had, all three of us, and it might not be enough. Yasmin stood up. Her chair scraped. With all respect, Francis, a few days is what he's counting on. The room was very still. Francis held that look for a long moment. Then she said, sit back down. Yasmin sat. Francis picked up her phone and dialed. Get me the head of IT now. She hung up and asked them, when they called back, for one thing. A full server log of every email sent from my work account in the last 90 days, cross-referenced with my login timestamps. If Roland had forged the email, the log would show it was sent from a session I was not logged into, or from a machine that was not mine. He could lie about a lot of things. He could not lie about a server log. 40 minutes passed. Nobody spoke. Francis typed occasionally on her computer, short bursts that filled the silence. Then her email chimed, a single sound that shifted everything in the room. She clicked on it and read for a full minute without moving, without blinking, without making a single expression that told us anything. Then she turned her monitor toward us. The server log was there, line after line, each one timestamped and labeled with a machine ID and a login record. Francis pointed to one line near the middle. The forged email had been sent at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday night. My badge records were listed right below it, showing I had swiped out of the building at 5:15 that same day, more than 6 hours before the email was sent, and the machine ID was registered to a desktop terminal in Roland's office. Not my desk, not a shared computer, his personal machine, in his personal office, after hours, while I was home with Chad probably watching something on the couch and not even thinking about work. Francis let us look at the screen for a long time, then she closed the log and picked up her phone. Ask Roland to come to my office. Now. Not in 5 minutes. Now. She looked at the three of us. Are you sure you want us here? I asked. He's been doing this in my company, under my name, for longer than I want to think about. You are not leaving this room. Roland arrived in under 4 minutes. He walked in with his usual smile, the one he wore like a uniform. He saw me first, then Mira, then Yasmin, and something flickered in his eyes because Yasmin was not supposed to be in the building at all. The smile held for one extra second, then fell. What is this? Sit down, Roland. He did not sit. He started talking like he had rehearsed it in the elevator. Francis, I've been meaning to talk to you about some concerns I have with this employee's work. There have been irregularities in her client communications, and I have documentation showing. Francis held up the printout. This documentation? He stopped. His mouth stayed open for half a second, then closed. This email was sent from your desktop terminal at 11:47 p.m., Francis said. She had been out of the building for 6 hours. Her badge records confirm it. The server log confirms it. Would you like to explain that, or should I let legal explain it for you? His mouth opened again. Nothing came out. He looked at me like I had pulled a trap he did not know was set. Then he turned back to Francis. There has to be a mistake. Someone must have used my computer. I would never do something like that. You know me, Francis. I've been with this firm for... Mira, Francis said, cutting him off. Read him the entry from October 14th. Mira opened her notebook and found the page without looking. She read out loud, clear and steady. The date, the time, the location, the exact words Roland had used about her performance review depending on cooperation. She did not look up from the page until she was finished. That's not what I said. Mira looked up then. She looked right at him. It is exactly what you said. I wrote it down 30 seconds after you walked away. Yasmin was already moving. She turned her 2 emails so they faced him. Which one is the truth, Roland? He looked at both. He did not answer. He did not even try. Francis stood up, slowly. The room went completely still. When she spoke, her voice was quiet, not soft, quiet. I built this firm from a one-room office with no clients and no reputation. I put your name on a door because you brought in numbers. I trusted you to lead people, and you used that trust to hurt the women in this building, and then you forged documents to cover it. She picked up her phone. I'm calling legal right now. You're suspended effective immediately. Your access will be revoked within the hour. If you contact anyone in this branch before the investigation is complete, I will treat it as evidence tampering, and I will hand everything we have to the authorities. Roland stared at her. For a moment, I thought he was going to argue. Then he looked around the room. 4 women. Not one of us looked away. He turned around and walked out without saying a word. The door clicked shut behind him, and the sound of it was the loudest thing I had heard all day. Francis sat back down and folded her hands. Thank you. I should have caught this sooner. You caught it now. She reached for Mira's notebook and opened it to the first page. Walk me through all of it, from the beginning. Every name, every date. We are not done. 2 weeks later, his name came off the door on a Tuesday morning. Nobody said a word. The hallway was quieter than it had been in a year.